all this recent hoopla because of Deontay Wilder saying that he wants to put a body on his record in that Breakfast Club interview. He's also said it before in other interviews. I think the first time he did say it was when he was being interviewed by the Boxing Voice. That's the first time I think he said that. But for some reason, after saying it on that platform, it didn't, catch as much hype behind it. Not a lot of people were talking about it as much as they are now after he said it with Kugan Cassius. And I know a lot of people already talked about this, how Mike Tyson has said controversial statements as well with the Jesse Ferguson situation, wanting to push his nose bone into his brain, wanting to eat Lennox Lewis's children. And there really wasn't much outrage about those comments. But I think in this instance, people aren't used to hearing Deontay Wilder say these things. Coming up in his career, he was thought of as, the nice guy, the good old, person from his neighborhood, coming up in a working class environment, not really being that controversial type character. But, I think at the end of the day, to do this, fighters have to have a special trait that not normal people have. You have to have that killer instinct in you. You have to, believe in the back of your mind that this could happen. And when you're in there and you have that killer instinct, that winner mentality, that win at all costs, regardless of what happens, you have to have that aggression. And Vladimir Klitschko did not seem to have that killer instinct in that Anthony Joshua fight. And because he didn't have that killer instinct at that particular moment, Anthony Joshua was able to survive, and he was able to finish the fight, and he was able to, eventually knock Vladimir Klitschko out. So Deontay Wilder, I believe, is just saying that, I have that killer instinct, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. It's basically when you're in there, a switch goes off, and all of the empathy, all of the compassion, all of the goodwill that you have for your fellow man goes out the window once that switch goes off and you're in that ring. So does this make Deontay Wilder a bad person? Does this make him someone that we should be concerned with or be concerned about? I don't believe so. Obviously it sounds harsh. It sounds over the top, but at the end of the day, it is the harsh reality of the sport, because people enter that ring not knowing if they're going to be the same as when they went in when they go out. That's the harsh reality of the sport, and having that killer instinct will help you in the ring, because if you let your opponent off the hook, then you could be in a similar situation where he has you in a compromising position. And if you took him out when you could have, you wouldn't be in that compromising position, I should say. So if Vladimir Klitschko utilized the killer instinct in his fight with Anthony Joshua, it's very safe to say that he may not have been knocked out, and he wouldn't have been on the receiving end of being in that compromising position if he stepped on the gas. So I know Hatman made a video earlier today, and he said that, Deontay Wilder just said what a lot of fighters want to say, what a lot of fighters believe in their hearts. Fighters have died in the ring. And it is very sad. But it is a harsh reality of the sport. It's not like we want it to happen. But again, when you're a competitor and your goal is to hurt your opponent, and because you hurt your opponent, you have to want to win at any cost, then you're going to be willing to do above normal things. You're going to be able to reach a threshold mentally, physically, psychologically, that the normal human being would not reach. And you have to reach that level in order to be successful in this sport. So I'm not going to sit here and vilify Deontay Wilder for saying what he said. I believe he clarified his position that, when I'm in that ring, I'm a warrior. I know that my opponent is trying to hurt me, and the only way I can prevent that from happening is hurting him. And if by preserving my own physical well-being means that I have to take that guy out, then I'm going to take that guy out. And I get that, and I understand that, and a lot of us may not get that, may not understand that, But the reason being is because we're not fighters. We're not in there. We're not putting our lives on the line. And we're not in there, you know, having to muster up that aggression and killer instinct, because we don't have that inside us. We don't have that inside us because we're not fighters. Fighters are special people. Not everyone walking down the street can have that fighter's mentality. That's why not everyone can enter a ring or enter an octagon or enter a battlefield being a soldier. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Because if you don't, one split second you let your eye off the prize, your ass can be on the line and you can be on the receiving end of something that can be detrimental to you. So I think the old adage is better you than me, and I think that's totally applicable in the ring, and that's why, you know, I understand what Deontay Wilder has said. So it is what it is. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna, you know, basically walk around and saying that I want to kill people. I'm not saying that he said that, but I mean, he's basically saying that whatever happens, happens. I have to, you know, do what I got to do to protect my well-being and the well-being of my family. And if that happens, and if the case may be that someone has to lose their life over it, then it is what it is. I mean, even Sugar Ray Robinson used to dream about killing somebody. And even before the fight, I think it was with, if I'm not mistaken, Benny Kit Paret, way back when, and I think it was in the late 50s, early 60s, when he fought Benny Kit Paret. He actually didn't want to fight the fight. He told the commission, you know, I want to pull out of this fight. I had a dream last night that I killed this guy. So fighters think about it. And actually, the dream did come true. So fighters do think about it. Fighters dream about it. This is on fighters' minds. It happens. It's part of the sport. And just because fighters will say things that other fighters won't say, doesn't mean that, you know, everybody is not believing that. You know, and I think having a killer instinct is a great, great weapon in the ring. And I think that's one advantage definitively that Deontay Wilder has over every single heavyweight in the world right now. He does have a true killer instinct. And I don't think once he hurts somebody, he's going to let anyone off the hook. But I'm not so sure about Anthony Joshua. And we already saw what happened to Vladimir Klitschko. So that's all I got for now. We're going to be doing a post-fight show after Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker later on this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure you join us. Obviously, we're taking tomorrow off for Easter. So that's all I got for you guys right now. Give me your thoughts on this topic. And Beaver's out. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.